Friends, respected leaders and fellow citizens, today I stand before you with a heavy heart, but also with resolve and clarity. I have listened to the voices raised by the pressures, the whispers of manipulation, and the demands for conformity, and to those who seek to impose narrow visions, who would reduce identity to allegiance, faith to politics, and dignity to bargaining chips. I say enough. Recently, in forums both global and intimate, the idea has been floated that Muslim-majority nations, Muslim communities, somehow should yield to a vision defined by others. Pressures have come not always overt, sometimes cloaked in diplomacy, always persistent, urging Muslims to choose sides, to accept definitions not of their making and alliances not of their choosing. Some speak of a Muslim NATO as if it is a tool they can leverage, or threaten to leverage to force Muslim nations into a geopolitical chessboard. Some see Muslim identity not as a source of richness, but as a problem to be managed. They urge that Muslim governments must show obedience, that Islamic nations must quietly accept treaties, alignments and strategies that serve interests far removed from the welfare of ordinary Muslim people. But here is what I believe with all my being. No one has the right to dictate the faith or loyalties of another. No one may tether belief to politics, and no one may frame the Muslim world in ways that serve a few, while leaving many behind. Let me be clear. I speak as someone who cherishes peace, who longs for justice, who knows that the world is better when all peoples are free to live with dignity. I believe in alliances born of mutual respect, cooperation, shared values, not coercion. I believe in unity that arises from choice, compassion, empathy, not from fear or compulsion. So when pressure is applied, when a powerful voice insists that Muslim countries accept a model set by others, that they align with an agenda not of their own design, I must respond. I respond not with anger, but with conviction. I respond not with a desire to divide, but with a determination to protect what is just. I respond not merely for my country, not merely for myself, but for all who hunger for fairness, for all who deserve sovereignty over their faith and identity. Because faith is not a political pawn. Identity is not a strategic chess piece. And people are not instruments to be maneuvered in invisible wars of influence. We see what is at stake. Lives shattered by conflict, families torn apart by ideologies that pit us against each other. We see how rhetoric can morph into policy, how pressure can yield silence, and silence can become complicity. But I will not be silent. I cannot accept that the Muslim world must always answer to someone else's demands, always respond to someone else's framing. We must reject any narrative that frames Muslim nations as monoliths to be controlled, or as wild cards to be contained. We are many nations, many peoples, many voices. We are rich in history, diverse in culture, varied in hope. We believe in neighborliness and peace, in justice, and we are not afraid to stand by these beliefs. To those who have tried to pressure Muslim countries to align with external goals, I say this: cooperation is welcome, dialogue is necessary. Partnership is essential, but not subservience, not at the cost of our dignity, not at the expense of our people. We will protect our right to self-determination. We will safeguard our freedom to decide our values, our alliances, our future, and if we must stand firm in the face of pressure, we will. Because at the heart of every nation, of every people, lies the deep and unshakable desire to choose their own path. This is not just a political stance, it is a human truth. To be free is not merely to walk without chains, it is to have the power to think, to speak, and to live according to one's own principles, beliefs and hopes. It is to be able to raise your children in a world where their faith and identity are not something to be hidden or apologized for, but something to be embraced, respected and celebrated. There will always be those who try to write our story for us, who attempt to decide who we should trust, what alliances we should form, what direction our country should take. They come with confident voices and powerful institutions, claiming they know what is best for us. But we have seen enough to know that behind such pressure is often self-interest, not solidarity. Behind polite suggestions often lies a plan already written, waiting only for our signatures. But we will not be pressured into silence, nor pushed into decisions that betray our values or ignore the voice of our people. We have the right to decide for ourselves. That means we have the right to look at global alliances and choose the ones that truly represent our values. We have the right to say no to military agreements that entangle us in conflicts that are not ours. We have the right to say yes to peace, yes to justice, yes to cooperation, but on our terms, not under someone else's control. Self-determination is not about isolation. It is not about rejecting the world or turning away from others. It is about engagement on equal footing. It is about being part of the world without being told by others where our place should be. It is about shaping our own future with our own hands, not borrowing someone else's blueprint. When we choose our alliances, we do so based on shared values, not pressure. When we speak in international gatherings, we do so as equals, not as those seeking approval. And yes, this sometimes means standing firm when it would be easier to bow. It means saying no, even when others raise their eyebrows. It means refusing deals that seem convenient, but come at the cost of our dignity. Pressure can come in many forms: economic threats, political isolation, diplomatic bullying, but no threat is greater than the loss of our own voice. There are some who argue that compromise is the path to peace. And yes, in many situations, compromise is necessary. But compromise must never come at the cost of our core beliefs. It must never require us to betray our people's trust. If a compromise demands that we abandon our brothers and sisters, that we stay silent in the face of injustice, or that we reduce our faith to a footnote in global politics, then it is not compromise, it is surrender. We are not strangers to pressure. Throughout history, our people have been told to comply or be left behind. We have been offered promises in exchange for submission. We have been warned that resistance means isolation. But time and time again, we have seen that, when we stay true to ourselves, even in the face of difficulty, we emerge stronger, more united and more respected. Let us be clear, we are not against anyone. We do not seek division. We believe in peaceful coexistence, in dialogue, in mutual respect. We welcome partnerships that are built on fairness, but we do not accept relationships built on threats. We do not welcome invitations that come with conditions aimed at stripping us of our independence. We do not want alliances where our voice is only heard when it echoes someone else's words. Our values are not for sale. Our identity is not something we will trade for political favor. Our future is not up for negotiation behind closed doors. We know who we are, we know where we come from, and we know where we are going. Every step we take must reflect the will of our people, not the calculations of foreign feigners. And so if standing firm is what it takes to protect our right to choose, then we will stand firm, even when the winds are strong, even when the voices against us grow louder. Because some things are worth defending with everything we have. Our dignity, our freedom, our right to walk our own path. This right to self-determination is not just about nations. It is about individuals, communities, cultures. It is about the right of every person to pray in peace, to speak their language, without shame, to dream without borders being drawn around them by others. It is the mother's right to raise her children in safety. It is the teacher's right to without censorship. It is the worker's right to labor with dignity. It is the youth's right to imagine a better world without being told their place in it has already been decided. Let us not be afraid to stand for what is right. Let us not be afraid to say, we will choose for ourselves. For in doing so, we honor not only ourselves, but those who came before us, those who fought, struggled, and sacrificed for the freedoms we now hold. And we protect the future for those who will come after us, those who will inherit the world we are shaping today. So to all who would attempt to impose their will upon us, let them know, we are not against the world, but we will not be ruled by it. We are not seeking conflict, but we will not flee from it, if it means defending our dignity. We are open to dialogue, but not to domination. We are willing to walk together, but only if the road is one we helped build. This is our promise. This is our stand. We will protect our right to self-determination. We will safeguard our freedom to decide our values, our alliances, our future. And if we must stand firm in the face of pressure, we will, because we know who we are, and we are not afraid. Let me make a promise today. We will not be coerced. We will not be manipulated. We will not allow politics to hijack the human needs that are common across humanity. We will work with all who want peace, with all who respect sovereignty. We will ally with those who treat our faith and our identity, not as bargaining chips, but as parts of selves that deserve understanding and respect. To those in leadership, everywhere, I urge you, treat the Muslim world with the same dignity you expect for yourself. Do not speak for us. Do not assume you understand our pain or our hopes. Sit with us. Listen. Let partnership arise from equality. To my fellow citizens, especially those who feel caught between identities, who are told that being faithful or being Muslim limits your chance to be recognized, Know this, your faith does not make you second class. Your identity does not mean you must sacrifice your voice. You belong, you have worth, and your rights are not negotiable. To the youth, you are inheritors of a world built in struggle, but also of dreams woven with possibility. They may try to reduce you to statistics, or shadows on a screen, but you are more. You are the ones who will write the future. You will claim dignity, justice, and the ability to choose. Some may accuse us of defiance. They may call us unreasonable, stubborn, difficult. But ask yourself, is it defiance to value your dignity? Is it stubbornness to insist on fairness, or is it simply common sense? Too often, when people choose to speak for themselves, to resist what they feel is unjust, they are labeled as troublemakers. It is a familiar tactic, one used to shame, to silence, to push people back into quiet acceptance. But what is the real source of discomfort here? It is not our voices that upset them. It is our refusal to be obedient to narratives that we never agreed to in the first place. It is our unwillingness to stay silent in the face of double standards and lopsided expectations. Is it really defiance to want to live with dignity, to want fairness in how your people are treated, how your identity is respected, how your future is shaped? If calling out hypocrisy is labeled as stubbornness, then let it be so. If asking for basic respect is treated as being difficult, then let us be difficult. Because what is truly unreasonable is expecting people to live without pride, without choice, without agency. We have come to a point in history where asking for justice is seen as disruption, where wanting to speak our truth is seen as aggression, where refusing to bow quietly is treated as rebellion. But the question we must ask is, what kind of world do we want? One where the powerful are never challenged, where systems remain unequal, where voices are filtered and molded into what makes others comfortable, or a world where all people, regardless of their background or belief, are treated with the respect they deserve. This struggle is not new. Throughout history, every movement for justice has been met with the same accusations. When enslaved people demanded freedom, they were called unruly. When colonized nations sought independence, they were told they were ungrateful. When women fought for equality, they were labeled emotional or irrational. And when the oppressed lifted their heads and said enough, the powerful always found ways to call it unreasonable. But history does not honor those who simply complied. It does not celebrate those who kept quiet to keep the peace. It remembers those who stood firm, those who raised their voices even when they trembled, those who refused to be defined by someone else's story. It remembers those who dared to say no more. What we are doing now, refusing to accept unfair labels, rejecting pressure, standing firm in our beliefs, is not a crime, it is a right. It is not hatred, it is self-respect. It is not rage, it is resilience. It is not about opposing others, but about protecting ourselves. Let us think about what it means to draw a line. A line does not have to mean division. It can also mean clarity. It can mean the moment when a people decides that it will no longer be reduced to something smaller than it is. A line can be a boundary, a way to say this is who we are, and this is what we will not accept. It is not drawn in anger, but in truth. It is not drawn to shut others out, but to protect what lies within. And yes, some will see our firmness as resistance. But resistance is not always a fist in the air. It can be a quiet refusal, a refusal to be erased, a refusal to let history repeat itself without challenge, a refusal to pretend that dignity is a gift to be handed out by others, when in fact it is our birthright. We must never allow the judgment of others to shape how we view ourselves. Because the same people who call us stubborn today may one day look back and realize we were simply early to the truth. The same systems that mock us now may one day be changed because we did not give in. But even if that recognition never comes, our duty remains the same, to speak for ourselves, to defend what is right, to live with dignity even if the world misunderstands us. The truth is, courage often looks like defiance to those who benefit from silence. When you question a system, those who built it may take offense. When you demand equality, those used to privilege may feel attacked. But that cannot stop us. We cannot measure the righteousness of our cause by the comfort of those who oppose it. We must measure it by the truth it stands on, by the lives it protects, by the justice it seeks. What kind of world would we be building if we chose to stay quiet? If we told our children that when they are mistreated they should say nothing? If we allowed fear of being labeled to stop us from acting with integrity? That is not the world we want to leave behind. We want a world where truth matters, where people are free to stand tall, and where dignity is not something you have to earn by pleasing others. And so if they say we are defiant, let us embrace it, not as a sign of hostility, but as a sign that we are no longer willing to shrink ourselves to fit someone else's idea of who we should be. Let it be a symbol of strength, not shame. Let it show that we will not allow pressure to rewrite our identity, nor will we let false accusations steer us from the path of justice. We do not ask for more than what is fair. We do not seek revenge, nor do we wish harm upon others. What we want is simple: to be respected, to be heard, to live as equals in a world that is often quick to divide and slow to understand. And if that desire is seen as a threat, then perhaps the world needs to look more closely at itself. History is not written by the quiet, it is shaped by those who speak, who stand, who act, and it is remembered most by those who choose principle over popularity, truth over comfort, and justice over ease. We walk in the footsteps of those who refuse to be silent, and one day, others may walk in ours. Let us then continue to speak, not with hatred but with clarity. Let us continue to stand, not against the world but for ourselves. Let us continue to draw the line, not to divide but to define who we are and what we will accept. Because there is nothing wrong with demanding dignity. There is nothing wrong with holding to fairness. And if that is called defiance, then we wear it with pride. We do not wish ill on anyone. We do not seek conflict. We seek understanding. We seek alliances that lift, not oppress. We believe in a world where nations cooperate, where every community has a role, where no one is asked to betray their core. So I offer peace, I offer respect, I offer partnership, but always I will offer dignity. In closing, let me say this: when pressure comes, when the powerful try to bend us, silence us, define us, we must stand together, not in anger, but in resolve, not dividing ourselves, but in unity, not in hatred, but in hope. May we build bridges strong enough to carry our dreams. May we speak truth to power and yet never lose our compassion. May we hold fast to our faith without fear, to our identity without shame. And may we walk forward in a world where every voice matters, every people's rights are honored, and every heart dares to believe in justice.